Ooh, a little bit of that hip catch right in that front of that hip. I feel it when I get a little bit to like that parallel portion. That's where most people feel it. So I want to show you a hip mobility drill, a hip mobilization that you can do using a band. You want to have a tough band, something that's strong. A little TheraBand isn't really going to be enough to do anything, but here's a stronger band. You can still do this hip mobility drill, but the band just helps it a little bit. It makes it a little bit more intense. So I want to focus on this left hip. I'm going to show you a few variations in how I go through this, all right? So I'm going to get down to a lunge position, okay? Oh, don't want to mess up my, my receiver here for my microphone. I get a lunge position. I'm going to bring that up kind of in my upper thigh, inner groin region, because I want this to pull my hip back, distract, and help open up the front of the hip. So I'm going to scoot forward a little bit. I'm going to build some tension on that band. So now you see it's actively pulling. As I'm in this position, I'm not just going to sit here all day. I'm not just going to sit here and let my hip just be pulled and just play on my phone. I'm not going to do that because I want to get the most out of this. So I'm going to turn it into a repetitive mobility drill. Repetition, our joints love repetition. So as this is pulling back on my hip, opening me up a little bit more, I'm going to lunge repetitively, backing off and pushing into it. Backing off and pushing into it. Backing off and pushing into it. This is just repeatedly mobilizing the front of my hip. Now, as I do this, if I want to make sure I'm moving in all the right areas and I'm not excessively moving through the low back as I do this and just arching through the back, I can even assist myself by pushing my hand behind my hip and flexing my glute, keeping my glute flexed the whole time. Because if I'm not flexing this glute, I might have a tendency to kind of arch into it, right? But if I flex my glute, it helps posteriorly tilt my pelvis. It's going to pull my pelvis back, and that is going to further stretch the front of my hip. So I'm going from here to here. So I'm going to keep my glute flexed. I'm going to push my hand on my hip, and I'm going to help drive me forward into it, keeping that glute flexed. I'm going to do this repetitively. Now, after I've gotten the front of this hip pretty dang good and feeling nice and smooth, I'm going to rotate this leg a little bit. So now I got the front of the hip. I kind of want to get my adductors too though. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate my leg back. So see me kind of windshield wiper my foot away. I'm going to externally rotate my leg, but I'm going to keep my pelvis square. So now my leg's kind of facing you guys. I'm in an externally rotated position. Now when I lunge forward, I'm getting a little bit more groin, a little bit more adductor. And I'm going to do the exact same thing. Glute flexed, I'm driving myself this way. I'm driving and back off. Driving, back off. Driving, back off. I might do this maybe 10 full reps. Keep that glute flexed. Drive, 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 drive. Back off. Not just sitting here in the stretch, playing on my phone. Let's get the most out of this. We're motivated to fix ourselves, so let's do it. Keep driving into it. Drive, 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 drive. There we go. So we kind of got ourselves in a neutral position in front of the hip, external rotation position inside of the hip. Those are going to be the best ways to begin to open this up. And now we can immediately go back to the squat. Woo, it's feeling good. Go back to our squat, reassess here, see how it feels now. Way more fluid, much smoother, and you can actually feel no more hip pinch, the hip's more open, and helps you get into a deeper squat without any hip pain, so that you're not going to have any low back issues, hip issues, and you can squat freely. Give that one a try.